Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Software Engineer K here, and we are going to be going through another highly requested topic. People saying VeVe NFTs are not real NFTs. Where is the metadata? Why can't they see anything? What's going on? So this is a very highly requested topic. So what I'm going to be doing with you guys, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what I know, and I'm going to show you guys some examples with just off-chain versus on-chain, and then kind of where we can expect to move next. So if we go to firstly Mutascan. So Mutascan, for those who don't know, is the way to track L2 tokens on Immutable X. And if we search up VeVe, we can see total number of minted tokens, unique owners. So this is individual addresses that have these tokens. So 6.8 million tokens, that correlates to 6.8 million NFTs on VeVe. So we can see that the collection falls under VeVe, and then we can see the addresses and the transaction. So that's fairly reasonable stuff. Now with these tokens, these fall under VeVe. If we have a look at a transaction, so we can see here we have a token ID. We've got the address from, address to, type is ERC721 as we know, and then the address for VeVe, and yeah, so that's the that's pretty much it. Now the issue is people kind of come to this and they say, hey, I've got like this token ID, why can't I see anything? It doesn't make sense. What's going on? So the issue is, oh, this was 7 hours ago. I guess this is a comic. Should be a comic. That was 7 hours ago. Yeah, that was 7 hours ago. Yeah, so this is a comic. So I already know which one this is actually. But you can't really tell what it is. And the issue is because the metadata associated with this token ID, that is kept off-chain, not on-chain. So I'm going to go to the difference in a second, but just to kind of preface with what I'm about to tell you guys, the reason why VeVe metadata is kept off-chain is, one, because the 3D assets are absolutely huge. The blockchain can store very limited amount of data, and also it's very expensive to store large files. And two, obviously there is also the aspect of the licensors. There's a lot of legal kind of red tape with where you store the license source assets, because obviously the blockchain is open source, you could say. It's distributed everywhere globally, and certain geographies, maybe the licensor doesn't want their IP to be present there. That is the other issue. And then we also go into the problem of, okay, we've got these assets. If we have them off chain, we have the ability to update them. We can animate them. We can fix typos in a name, etc. If it's on chain, on chain stuff is typically immutable, so you can't like go back and retrospectively change it. So back in April, some people know I went to Amsterdam, and I went there to go to the Immutable X Dev Meet. So you guys probably saw some of my videos from there. We got Harrison here, who I managed to harass into putting the red O in the OMI token in the IMX marketplace. But I got to speak to their devs and kind of understand more about the process of integrating VeVe. So going back to Immutable X, basically what IMX needs to do is they need to go and get the off-chain metadata, which is probably stored privately by VeVe, and they need to get the token IDs that you can see here and link the two together. Now obviously, because VeVe has their own proprietary way of storing this metadata, it's going to take a bit longer to kind of get that visible. Tokens minted on IMX's marketplace, because they're using their own kind of out of the box file storage, then you can see the metadata, the image files, etc. quite easily. If there's a third party, then they have to actually add a custom integration, which is what they've got. They've got a team from IMX helping to integrate VeVe's off-chain data onto the Mutascan. So most often what you might see is IPFS, Pinata is quite a popular one. You can basically store your metadata through here and then link it to your token through some form of URI. So just to show you guys an example, right? So I've got metadata and I've got images. This is stored on IPFS here that we can see. And so if I go into the metadata, right, typically what you're going to see is, I'll take an example. So you're going to see some data that looks like this. So you can see I've got name of my collection, description. This is important. This is the URI. So this is, what's going to be linking my metadata to the image. And then, we've got some other stuff, date, and then the traits that you might see. And, if we go back and look at the images, so we can see that, typically for VeVe, they'll have like their own internal version of this, linking some, probably some foreign key links to, asset on a database. But essentially they'll have a way to link your token to the content, and, we can see that this is, as in this example, this is what I've got, just an eyeball, and it's pretty straightforward. So this is all off-chain. So basically this metadata here and this image here, that's going to be linked to our token through some form of a ID. Often we call these like foreign keys. It's a key that basically links, one set of data to another set of data. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not too much more than that. So what Immutable X needs to do is get access to VeVe's off-chain data, integrate that into Mutascan, and then link the token IDs to that data. And then when you go on the Mutascan, you'll be able to see your VeVe NFTs, all the description, names, the image, all of that good stuff. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Now there is someone who is in the community, OMI the Clown. He does have access to the VeVe API, and I recall him mentioning that he was able to kind of see the metadata, so it is there. You can see which token should be which NFT. So I'm not too worried about that kind of thing, but a lot of people will bring this up. They'll say, hey, there's no metadata on the token, it's just an ID, these aren't real NFTs, etc., etc., without realizing a lot of NFTs on OpenSea, the metadata is off chain because they've minted it via OpenSea, or most things that you mint on a marketplace is going to be the metadata will be off chain. It'll be on their own marketplace's internal storage, whatever system they want to use. So yeah, I mean, if you do want to learn more about this, there are plenty of articles. Here's a pretty good one. It talks about the problems with off-chain metadata. So they talk about IPFS here. It is centralized. And there are problems like if the server does go down, maybe you won't see the content anymore. But with more distributed servers, cloud-based, that problem gets eliminated, reduced. But you have to also know the problem with on-chain is, the fees is way more expensive. You can't really have 3D assets. You're going to be stuck with like, pixelated 8-bit JPEGs, like, CryptoPunks, that kind of stuff. So, there are trade-offs between the two. But as this, technology evolves, once you can somehow, there'll be some protocol in the future where you can store massive files, like, like on top of the blockchain, then yeah, I could see VeVe migrate to that possibly. Wherever works best, whatever the community wants. I believe that's what they're going to move towards. So I'm not too concerned. Now moving on to the price of the OMI token, because this was something I've been anticipating. Is if we zoom in here, so we've been expecting a breakout from this downwards channel. We're currently trading in the upper bound of this channel. And we did kind of touch this 90-day moving average and we came back down. Now we actually bounced off the 30-day moving average. So we're zoning between the 90 and 30-day moving averages. It's going to be interesting because if we have a look here, this is the kind of 15th, 16th of July. So probably the next day we're going to see, can we break out of this downwards channel? Because we haven't broken out of this downwards channel in a very long time actually. Probably, when was this? We're probably trending above this channel, like back at all-time highs actually. Yeah, March of last year. Since then we've kind of stayed below this downward trending zone. We could see a reversal, but you know, it could be a bull trap as well, because we are expecting more negative news in the markets. Remember, there is that Black Swan event with Mt. Gox creditors. They are expecting to get repaid, and probably even if they dumped 50% of what they get repaid, that's going to have an effect on the market. And then, you know, we've got the problems with China invading Taiwan and Russia, etc. So there's a lot of world events going on, crazy inflation. So, you know, people are anticipating the worst yet to come. So I would see, I'm expecting OMI to touch, you know, this upper bound and drop. I'm expecting it to drop down back to around about the 30-day moving average. So around about this 0.135 range. Around about here, 0.135 to 0.138. You know, could bounce at 0.14, but, you know, I'm hoping we break below. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, if we do break below, I'm going to buy some more OMI, and I'll keep you guys posted. My target goal is 50 million tokens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to go through you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, support the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.